The bulbs kind of look like tiny little dried up sea urchins. Yeah, so you said there was a battery in here.
There's definitely a battery in there. There were a couple that actually put the dates in 1950 and 1944.
So we did this bathroom ourselves a few years ago and I absolutely love it. It's just such a gorgeous bathroom. I think I'm really proud of the work that we did in here. It was a complete transformation and so different to the original. But this window sill has actually become more of a bathroom ledge, which was never supposed to be. It was supposed to just be a couple of candles and a place to just put a glass of wine or, you know, a cup of tea or something. But it's actually started to gather things like bottles and shower gels and soap dishes and soaps and all sorts of things, and it's starting to A, look really messy, and B, the actual water that's kind of dripping off all of these different items is actually now starting to water stain the oak windowsill. So we really need to change it up. So I've ordered a couple of things like a marble tray and some bowls and things for things that actually go in kind of almost kind of container areas, so that hopefully things look a lot tidier and offer a little bit more protection to this oak windowsill. So the first thing I need to do is clear this windowsill, put all of this stuff in the bath so I can clean each item individually, give this windowsill a really nice polish. I use orange oil. I think it's a really nice kind of eco-friendly way to actually polish your wood furniture or your kind of wood parts like these kind of things. And it's really nice because the orange oil really offers that extra layer of oil protection on the wood and hopefully will help me with some of these watermarks, polish it up and then basically start afresh. So all the things I got were from H&M Home. There's this lovely kind of raised dish bowl, which I'm going to use to hold all of these bath bombs. I think also when these were kind of in the vase, you kind of didn't feel like you actually kind of wanted to take them out, if you know what I mean, because they were actually in the bottom of the vase and you kind of just didn't really want to put your wet hand in there and everything else. This seems to kind of to be maybe a little bit more like you would actually grab one and throw one in the bath. Then we got a bowl for the sponge. Just thought that that was a nice way of actually holding a sponge in place and actually kind of also allowing it to get the air it needs to kind of dry all the way around. And then we got this marble tray, really nice solid marble. I have to say it's very chunky and heavy. It's better than coasters, isn't it? And then to finish it off, we've got this very nice marble, chunky, very heavy. Actually, I've got to say the marble from H&M Home is really worth checking out if that's something that you're looking for, because it's really thick. I mean, it's a really nice heavy weight and completely natural marble, not acrylic. And I'm going to use this for a little soap. This is a lovely handmade soap. And then the other side is going to be for a lovely lemon verde candle. I think it looks really, really lovely. It's really smartened up the bathroom, and I think that the marble really goes with our marble around our shower, so that's really beautiful. And I have to say, this is such a nice way of kind of displaying things. If you've got things like bath bombs, to think about having like kind of the different heights in your bathroom and, you know, displaying them kind of more aesthetically as opposed to just kind of in a drawer somewhere, so then you actually kind of do use them. And yeah, I just think it looks really, really pretty. Much more relaxing when I come to my bath this evening to kind of look at things looking nice and organised. So I'm going to plant up the bulbs, the summer bulbs that Dutch Grown sent us. And I should just say for clarity that basically Dutch Grown have launched these summer bulbs, but for the American market. They're not actually available in the European market yet. If you're in America, you can order them and they will come looking fantastic and packaged really beautifully. You can't get them in the UK or Europe yet, but because we have worked and collaborated with Dutch Grown previously, they have very kindly sent me this kind of selection, as almost like a custom order, or like almost like a kind of sneak peek, if you like. So the packaging is just kind of like what they've done inside the office and then sent us. So this is not what you will receive if you order them in Europe or in the UK when it's available in Europe. And they're hoping that it's going to be available in Europe this summer or
next year.
Next year, so 2024. So I just brought in a selection of old recycled pots that we've got in different sizes. I've got one that I think is like a 1.5 litre, 3 litres and 2.5 litres, and then I've got a couple of really big ones. Basically, as long as it fits into the pot and you've got enough space for the plant to expand a bit, that's kind of vaguely the size of the pot that you'll kind of need. So just make sure it's big enough to contain it without squashing the bulb or the roots. I use a light mixture of compost and vermiculite. For these, I will not use as much vermiculite as I would for our seedlings, because there are plants in here, bulbs in here, for example, like the dahlias, that will not like it too wet. So it'll be more kind of approximate ratio of like 80-20, so 80 compost, 20 vermiculite. That soil's ready, but before I get going, I think there is a packet of ranunculus in here. So with ranunculus and anemones, the bulbs kind of look like tiny little dried up sea urchins and look like this, and they kind of do look quite dried. And I think that some gardeners, when they get their kind of anemone or ranuncular bulbs, they're actually called corns. Sorry, they are bulbs, but they're actually called corns. Some of them look so dried up. I think some gardeners get these and go, well, this is a dud. Actually, that's what they're supposed to look like. So what you need to do is you need to rehydrate them. So what you'll need to do is just get yourself a bowl and fill it with room temperature water. So I got this from the kitchen tap, not from the outside tap, because the outside tap would be freezing cold water. And then you need to just pop these, however many you want to plant, just pop those into the water to rehydrate them. And you want to kind of rehydrate them for approximately like 2 to 3 hours. And you'll see that they basically swell up, and I'll show you how to plant those on in a minute. So the first thing we're going to plant is our calla lilies. These are really beautiful flowers. They make a really nice cut flower, but quite honestly, I don't tend to cut them because they just look so gorgeous. I want to enjoy them in the garden. But you want to kind of plant these quite deep, and you just want to plant them with the eye facing up, and you'll know what the eye is because basically it looks like an eye. It's the round circular bit. The other bit on the calla lilies is really easy because it's just kind of flat and kind of textured, but the top actually has the circles, the eyes, and on this one you can see there's already a tiny little bit of sprouting going on, so that's really easy to tell which way up. Thank you to this week's sponsor, Dutch Grown. I can't wait to see all these gorgeous summer flowers that we're going to have.
We always love collaborating with Dutch Grown because they're so passionate about what they do, and the quality of their bulbs is always excellent.
For more information, the links are in the description box below. Next up is astilbe, a very beautiful kind of fluffy looking flower. And you just want to kind of plant this so that you can see there's little tiny shoots on this already at the top of the crown, and you just want to have the soil level just up to that if you're putting it into a pot. If you're doing it directly outside, slightly different directions, but because I'm doing it inside in controlled temperatures and in a pot, I'm going to do it so the crown is kind of sticking out of the soil like that. And then just because when they come in the bag, they'll be quite compact, so you just want to kind of fluff up the roots very gently like this. Give them a chance to really want to kind of just spread out. Mars has very kindly brought me in a wheelbarrow of soil, which is much easier to work with because then I can just literally use the wheelbarrow as my potting tray. Now we move on to hostas, one of my favorite plants in the garden that comes up in the summer. It's really lush and just gives you real tropical vibes. And this is what a hosta bulb looks like. It's quite crazy actually. It looks like a mini pineapple. So it's got this little furry top bit, and then you just want to tease out the roots a little bit and just plant this an inch underneath the soil. Next up we're planting gladioli, and that is like almost like a flat squash bulb, and you've got like a pointy bit at the top, which is where your flower will come from, your plant, and then at the bottom it's either got a little bit of furry roots on or no roots at all, and just kind of like that. So that's what the bottom looks like, and then you're just going to plant it with the top bit facing upwards in about 6 inches of soil, so a nice deep pot to get it really nice and established and going. Next we've got Siberian iris, very easy to plant. You can clearly see the root and the crown, and this one is already shooting. In fact, all of them are already shooting. So the soil's just going to come up to there. So we've just had a nice spot of lunch and we're back. Now moving on to dahlias. Basically when you get your dahlias, you just get a cluster of tubers or maybe one tuber, and you want to plant it so that the stem or the stalk is out of the soil, so just to there, to soil level, which can be a little bit tricky because sometimes your tubers are kind of at soil level, so you just got to kind of just cover them, but don't over cover them and cover them up to here. This does need to be out of the soil, so to there. And it is recommended that you plant your dahlia tubers into at least a 3-litre pot. On to aquilegias. Also a very easy kind of bulb to plant because you can really distinctly see where the roots are, and then basically that is the part where it's the crown, so that's where the plant will come up. So that's where it would have been planted and then just chopped off there. So you don't want to go any higher than that with your soil, but a really beautiful plant, aquilegias. So this is a peony tuber, and I have to say I'm very grateful that it's already sprouting. You can see the little pale pink there, that's the new growth that's coming through, and I'm very glad that we have that, because honestly it might be a little bit tricky to kind of know which way up this root or tuber goes, because it all looks very similar. If you're going to get a root or a tuber and it hasn't sprouted, maybe just give it a sec to actually come through, and then you'll absolutely know which way, because you really do not want to be planting these upside down. That would not be good news. And then it's literally getting the soil right up to that point. Peonies really don't like to be buried deep, so you really do want to know where the top is, because you really want the soil to be literally at that level. You don't want to be covering that new growth at all. Next up is begonias, and I've never grown begonias from tubers before, but I would have actually, just on instinct, I would have actually planted them like that. But actually the instructions, thank you Dutch Grown, says that the depression, to the bit that's pressed in almost of the tuber, needs to be facing upwards. So presumably then this mass of kind of furry stuff is actually the roots. So you want the roots facing down and almost like a little bowl, and you want the bowl facing up. And then that's just 1 inch underneath the soil, so quite shallow actually. Echinacea is another one that I tried to grow from seed last year and had very little, if not zero, success with. So I'm really hoping that growing it on from this tuber or bulb is going to be more successful. I've got to say, it's so pretty. I don't know if you can see just how pink, kind of purpley coloured the new shoots are. Really, really pretty. So they just need to be in a nice tall pot. So we're going to pop them in, and again, you just want those new shoots to be at soil level. So the ranunculus have been soaking for a good couple of hours. So we're just going to drain those off. So you can really see how much they've hydrated themselves. They will look lovely and juicy and fresh and ready to plant. And you want to plant them claw facing down. So they're all going to go into the soil like this, and I'm going to plant them into some trays, so they're only going to be in about a couple of inches of soil, and I'm going to keep them like that for about 7 to 10 days. Let them kind of start to get going, let them actually get some shoots or growth on them, and then that's when I'll actually put them into their own individual pots and kind of grow them on from there. And then finally, the last one of the day, which is just as well, because it's been quite a long day, and I have to say it's getting quite dark and stormy out there, is the daylily. And daylilies or lilies are really easy because you can really clearly see where the roots are, and you can see where the top new shoots are coming through already. So this really wants to get going. So it's just a question of getting that into a nice tall pot so that she's got plenty of space to kind of grow and come up. So that's it, it's a wrap, and I have to say, after spending most of the day in the studio, I am starting to feel very, very chilly. Without any central heating in here, it can get really cold the longer you spend in here. So I really do need to go in and have a cup of tea, and it is getting stormier and stormier out there. But I have to say, it's been a really rewarding day, and it's only going to get even better and better as the weeks and months go on, because things are really going to start growing. And when I look at the volume of plants we have got out of today, it's absolutely amazing that one box of tubers and bulbs has just produced so many pots of plants for us to look forward to and enjoy. And it really just goes to show that when you go to your garden centre and spend, for example, £10 on a plant versus how much you could spend £10 on tubers or bulbs, the value for money you're getting is absolutely amazing. For what that one plant you would buy at the garden centre, you would get multiple plants out of, is really fantastic. So it's really worth doing. So I'm really pleased we've done it, and thank you again to Dutch Grown for very generously and kindly sending us out these bulbs and tubers. I can't wait to see them all blooming this summer. So probably like some of you guys, we have a Brita filter, which we use for our water. We did actually review a different filter jug last year, didn't we?
From Zero Water, yeah.
Was it last year or the year before?
Year before.
And we weren't impressed with it. We didn't like it. It wasn't for us. So we basically kind of went back to our Brita filter. Anyway, this company called LARQ basically contacted us and asked us to review this water filter jug that they've got. So we're gonna actually do that in a separate video. We just wanted to vlog it today because we're kind of eager to try it.
Excited.
It's supposed to be really good. It's a plant-based filter, which is supposed to be awesome. It's supposed to be a lot more, the filtration is supposed to be a lot better. But it looks really slick.
That's really cool.
It looks really nice. I've got to say, that's the one thing about the Brita jug I don't like, is that it's just a massive. So this is supposed to be more compact and more attractive design. So I'm hoping that is going to be the case. It looks pretty snazzy. And it's a 2-stage process filtration, so that sounds great.
I think that the biggest point here is that the Brita has got the stop-start button, so when you put in a new cartridge, you basically start that.
Yeah.
And it just starts a stupid timer, so basically it just runs for 4 weeks. This one apparently is all automated, so it's actually calculating how much water is actually running through it, and it'll actually tell you that you've now filtered enough water for that filter and it's time to change it.
Long-lasting filters, LARQ filters last up to 50% longer than leading brands, and by the leading brands I mean Brita, because on their website everything compares to Brita. Filters 60 gallons of water. I think also what the filter takes out is really good. So lead, chlorine, mercury, cadmium, copper, zinc, VOCs, bacteria, pharma. Yeah, so you said there was a battery in here.
There's definitely a battery in there.
Oh, I can see like a little sensor thing. Can you see the sensor thing in there?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
And it comes with an app.
Oh, it is
I
that.
love apps. Cool.
It's still plastic. It looks like glass and it feels like glass when you actually touch it. It feels like glass, but it's only when you actually tap it you realize that it's actually either I think it's acrylic or something like that, but it feels very, very weighty, as in like,
well made.
Yeah, very well made. Anyway, so if you're thinking of getting one, by the time this video is uploaded and you guys have watched it and everything else, we'll have probably tried this. So if you want to leave a comment below asking us what we thought, we will tell you what we thought of it.
And there will be a review.
Oh yeah, and there will be a product review. So we just taste tested the LARQ this morning.
Nice.
The water from the jug was very nice, very delicious, very fresh. Yeah, so far I recommend that. We are in our painting gear, all of our old clothes that we paint and decorate in. It takes me about 12 months to convince Mars to help me paint anything. We had to paint so much when we first moved into this house.
Yeah, got painted out.
Yeah, Mars was totally over the painting. By I think year 3, he was like, okay, I'm done with the painting. So now I try and just kind of do it every spring. We kind of just do touch-ups. Thankfully, I think we've only got a couple of rooms, like a guest bed and upstairs in our kind of officey area, study area, that we really do need to paint, which is like a major painting job. But, you know, I'm just giving him a break.
Next year.
Just kind of easing him into it. But I just kind of think that spring's a good time to do it because A, you're in a kind of a spring cleaning mode and you will never have time to do this in the summer when we're gardening as intensively as we do. And then come the autumn, you're kind of thinking about hunkering down and stuff. And then Christmas, you're kind of decorating. So this is always kind of a good time to do it. Say it's absolutely incredible how many pots of paint we have ended up with over the years, you know, various different colors to different rooms and then different finishes of those same colors. It's quite a conundrum trying to figure out what it is and for which room, and we have written on the tins, but you know, some of it's kind of been, you know, got paint on it and so you can't really read it anymore. But I'm going to say I always save these, the kind of the plastic trays that we get like vegetables in. I think these are the mushroom trays, and I always wash them and just throw them. They're really easy to kind of stack and just throw into, you know, kind of at the shed or the garage or somewhere. And they're just really handy when you're doing painting because they're a great size, they're shallow enough, fantastic to just carry around your paintbrushes and just kind of, you know, pick up any drips and stuff. So I always save these and use them for painting jobs because they're really useful and handy. And then all the paint that we use is water-based anyway, so I can just wash this out, give it a good clean, and then pop it into the recycling.
How's it going?
Good. Nearly finished. Done all the green wood that hasn't been done for quite a while, so there were quite a lot of scuff marks at the bottom, so I've tidied that up and touched all that up and then done this. I've just got to do the back of this door. I've done the stable door.
Oh, well done.
But obviously there's nothing, I don't paint the back of the door. I always forget to not paint the other side because of the markings, so.
Yeah, let me show you guys the back of the door.
Yeah, it's really cool. You should show them.
We're going to come through to here and I'm going to close this, and this is the original stable door. It weighs an absolute ton. It's a really heavy door, and you can see the actual hinges that are on here. They are rock solid, so they can actually hold this door up. And what's really cool is that a lot of the farm hands and the stable hands and the workers on the farm over the decades, and probably dating back to at least 1850, actually etched their initials onto the door. There were a couple that actually put the dates in 1950 and 1944. And this is the oldest date that's on here. It's 1895. We think it's JIJ. It's just such a lovely door. It's just got so much character. One of our friends actually suggested, because Kirsten and I have put so much work into this house, whether we shouldn't consider carving our own initials into the door.
Yeah.
I'm kind of undecided as to whether we should or shouldn't.
Yeah, I can't really decide either. It feels like, you know, you want to kind of keep it authentic and how it was, but then I can understand what they were saying, because they were like, you know, you're now part of the history of the house, and we definitely feel like we're part of the history of the house.
For sure, yeah.
We have put so much blood, sweat and tears into this house, and we just love it so much. Yeah, maybe if we ever leave, we'll kind of do it as a farewell thing, but let us know what you think. If you think we should, then add our initials to the history, then let us know below. Well, I have to say the painting yesterday was slightly backbreaking actually. I'm always going to forget just how exhausting it is just to paint. It sounds really pathetic because, you know, just standing there doing that really shouldn't be hard. But I think it's just because where I was doing it and where you were doing it as well, in the garden room, we were kind of leaning back into the ceiling bit and things, and it just does kind of tend to kind of, you know, I don't know, maybe we're getting old. Leopold and Olive are playing very nicely together, so that's lovely to see. And I think that we've actually managed to find a food that Olive absolutely loves, so that's been really successful this week. It's the Carney Love pouches, and so this week she's had a real variety of food. She's had, I think, quail and wild boar. Her bowl is just clean. There's nothing left in this bowl when she's finished this meal, so she is absolutely loving it. And the water's been a success, isn't it?
I'm loving the LARQ water.
Yeah, me too actually. It's been very, very tasty.
It's really good. It's we're now using it in our coffee machine.
And Olive had it in her water bowl.
Did she?
Yes,
Oh,
and she went and drank it, so that was a good sign. So the whole family is drinking LARQ water.
We're all getting very healthy for the summer.
Very hydrated. And we checked on our plants this morning and they're all looking good, so keep going with those. And the seeds,
Seedlings are coming along. We've got a couple of peas coming out now, so I reckon by next week temperatures are up. We'll start seeing more seedlings coming out.
Fantastic.
And then I think it might have to be vegetable bed cleaning next week, dare I say.
But a huge thank you once again to our sponsor for this week's vlog, Dutch Grown. Thank you guys. It was an absolute joy to just create all those pots and know that we've got such a fantastic variety of flowers to look forward to this summer. So massive thank you. Can't wait to get those grown. Hopefully the kitchen will be filled with flowers this summer, which I absolutely love, and a variety, because I think the last couple of summers I've really only had dahlias, which I absolutely love. But this year, hopefully we'll have like a mixture of different things, so really make some nice floral displays.
So thanks for watching, guys. I hope that you've had a nice, peaceful, quiet Sunday. Have a good week ahead, and we'll see you next week.
Take care. Bye.